Back in 2024, I was asked by an organizer of overseas tours that brought inbound groups from UK, America and Australasia into South Africa. And they had an issue that they needed to overcome, and they wanted a speaker to come and speak to them. So of course, I said yes. And we got to create a process that we called Conversations in the Carriage on the Blue Train. Now, Blue Train is one of the world's best, most luxurious trains that travel from Cape Town all the way to Pretoria. And over those 3 days, we got to mingle with the clients in the observation carriage and in the saloon and over supper and anywhere else that we could engage with them. And it was a really fun experience. We got to share the stories, but it also highlighted in me how little I knew about the actual history of my own country, where I live. And the research sort of started, and we learn history at school, but history at school is so biased, especially in South Africa. The history I learned wasn't the history at all. It was a version of the history as told by a very small segment of individuals. So unpacking all that, and we got together with a whole lot of people, and so I started to write all these little mini raconteuring handbooks. So I've got one on the Zulu wars that happened in KZN, out on the east coast of South Africa. I wrote another section on the frontier wars that happened down on the south coast against the British forces and the local tribes, and there was the Anglo-Boer War, and there was a whole lot of conflict around there, and then the slave trade. And so unpacking all these things and beginning to see some of these stories unfold, and we're a nation of storytellers, and I love telling stories. So we've got all these subsidiary books, but then there was nothing about Cape Town. And poor old Cape Town is a place where people come in and we see the mountain and we see the oceans and we go drink wine and then we go home. And I thought there's so many untold stories in Cape Town that are so funny and so important, because knowing them puts a whole lot of other stuff in place that we just take for granted. So I started to do some research. I climbed in my car and I drove many kilometers and sat down on pavements under trees in coffee shops with people, and I said, tell me your story. I sat on the edge of the harbour at Hout Bay and chatted to the guy who looks after the seal, and we chatted to the flower market ladies in Adley Street, and I just be able to understand who their story is and why. And we kind of looked at the different mysteries of, what are these 3 towers at the base of Table Mountain? Why haven't they finished the highway? And where does that water actually come from in Cape Town? And unpacking these ideas and concepts. And some of the names of our suburbs are absolutely hilarious. And it's a great sort of coffee table book. It's a great book for after dinner talks, and the concept of being a raconteur and to be able to share good funny stories and oopsies in our history and stuff that have changed the course of the world from a mistake. And it is really fun to share, and a great one. If you're a first time visitor to South Africa, this is a must book to get, and love to share one with you. But also, if you're just interested in the off the beaten track history of Cape Town and you want to get away from the normal tour guide thing, on the left you're going to see this, on the right you're going to see this. This scratches a little bit and reveals some brilliant stories. I've thoroughly enjoyed researching it, and I want to do more of this. It's kind of a retirement project. I want to do more, because every city in South Africa has the most amazing stories, and we've uncovered some beautiful stories along the railway line between Cape Town and Pretoria. And this book specifically, In the Shadow of a Mountain, unpacks some of the funny little antics and the history that not everybody gets to know.